Welcome back to Colorflow Conversations. I am Uakeisha, and this is
Tikisha.
and this is our final chat about love.
In February. Love you, Ari.
I ain't never heard that. I like that.
Hallmark. You know I'm a big Hallmark.
They said "Love You, Weary."
Yes.
Okay,
And I was
I
like,
love that.
I love that.
And you didn't even know in the beginning when
No,
I
I
first
did
said that,
not.
that
I
this
was
was the
just like,
month
I've
of
never
love.
heard of that.
Yeah, month of love, and we closing out today. Today is Thursday, February 29th, and we are both wearing our lipstick and leopard because we are celebrating. It's a very special day. We're celebrating the life and the birth of my good friend's mother, Miss Dorothy Banks,
Yes.
who was a leap year baby,
She was born on leap day, the 29th.
29th, and it only comes around every
4 years.
every 4 years.
I've never really researched it or anything. I knew it had like some Irish type thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But today I was just like, that was one of the things that I was gonna look into, like the background of leap year, because all these years I really don't know.
So many people say different things about February, and it got to be a month of love because you got leap year. It's only usually 28 days in the month. It's Black History Month. It's a lot of different things that have a positive meaning. But when you say you're gonna look up the history of it, you think it's an Irish thing. I don't know, but I think it's the year that you're supposed to leap.
I respect that and I get that too, because it only comes because I was gonna say I was gonna look that up, but me being me, the me that I'm stepping more into and putting out there, I'm magical. So
Yeah,
I
you
was
got it.
going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
look into that because I know like I said, I believe it's the Irish culture, but it's when the woman can propose to a man.
Really?
Yes.
In the Irish culture?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's a movie called Leap Year that's out there.
Really?
But yep, I think that's the whole history of it. I've never watched the movie.
Mhm.
I honestly don't even know if that's really what the movie about, but I did find out that little bit.
I
But
didn't
I
know
can
that.
see that. And it's funny that you said that because last night Mabel didn't come home, but guess what was there? A raccoon. So I looked up the meaning of a raccoon today and it says letting go. So we need to use today to let go of whatever fears, challenges, whatever, and think about what we want to bring in, our goals and aspirations.
This is
what would make the rest of our year a love. By the time everybody see this,
it'll be March.
But March is spring. That's when things start to bloom.
Spring forward.
It's time.
This is very, very different from you being unsure about what you should do as far as your life and career. Completely different because you was waiting on signs and wonders from God about what you should do. And now you about to research leap year. You know, it's a little bit about, now's the time for you to release and let go. You saw the raccoon and the meaning means let go of the fears you have. And even within the last week from today, you had a conversation also with my sister. I don't know what y'all said, but we talked about that same day as far as putting yourself out there and
that was the same exact day. The same day.
Yeah. Putting yourself out there and doing.
And I didn't even think about that, nor did I think about the timing with me showing up to even having that conversation.
Yeah.
Because it was never my intentions
to
go.
Yeah.
But your son invited me into his story and I accepted that role and showed up.
Yes. Yeah.
Because in my story, I was on my way home getting ready to get in bed.
And Elijah was so random with it too. Like, we should come to my game.
You should come to my game. And I said, okay. It was like, I didn't even think.
And I was just like, so you going?
Like, yeah.
Yeah. And then you end up having that conversation with her, and that whatever was said impacted you. Was like, okay. And this whole week, you know, it's a lot that we be having to do, but it sounded like you scheduled and organized and went into let me get this together mode to do what you're supposed to do what you know you called to do.
Yes, because like my on-call mortgage job, there were files available. So I said that I knew that I didn't want to work Saturday because I consider the Saturday as the Sabbath. So my commitment
to yourself,
to myself, and to my God was I'm not working on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So this happened. I said, you know what? I'm not going to work the day that we do the podcast. And, you know, I have some other things going on. So I was just like, I ain't going to work then. So I scheduled myself for Saturday. I was feeling conviction because I'm like, you haven't been doing that. Why would you do that? Like, don't do that. And these circumstances are not that. So I ended up switching it and just said, I'm going to work every day because I miss my mother and I love her and I sit here and I celebrate her in this shirt that I designed in her memory of two things that she loved.
Lipstick and leopard.
I know the difference between my love is coming from a place of grieving and mourning, then I'm just like, oh, I miss her, but it's okay. I find comfort in it. So I was just like, I'm gonna just work a couple of hours every day, including that day, so I don't have to work Saturday.
Look at the growth though, because when your mother
passed, and let me just say this, and I was worried about all of that, and guess what? I got up this morning to log on at 6 a.m., 0 files.
Really?
So it was shut down and get back in bed. So it's just like, I'm asking for signs, but there's no work available. You don't know when there's going to be another assignment. It might not be to April. I don't know because it's inconsistent. So it's just like God is talking to you, telling you the shift, let go.
No, I was going to say, look at the difference now when your mother first passed, because we talking about her because we celebrate her birthday today, her life, and we are representing her in her favorite colors. Purple, her purple lipstick that she wore.
Yes.
Mine is pink, but I got purple lipstick and a kind of purplish shoes, but
no, shoes fire.
You know,
I like the suede.
Look
at the shoes,
y'all. And she got on.
I got on my mama shoes.
The leopard.
These are hers. Yeah. Yes.
She loved leopard. She was very, very. I mean, your mom was. I was thinking today. Let me go back to what I was going to say. When she first passed, how the grief like took over, and how I remember on like previously on her day, you probably wouldn't have got out of bed.
I wouldn't have showered. Yeah. I literally wouldn't have got out of bed.
You wouldn't have got out of bed, and now you are like creating a new level of your life, talking about her in her, because you know now that it doesn't have to be a sad thing, that you could celebrate her memory and talk about her and let other people know who have lost their mothers that you're going to have your bad days, but it gets, I won't say better, it gets where you can
I think the word is cope, maybe.
Yeah, cope.
Because it doesn't get better. It's not easier. It's, you know, because I sit here still wishing that I could call her after this and talk about it. Like, girl, where do you see it? We wear your stuff. And she, you know, she would have flooded her timeline.
Absolutely. She loved Facebook.
So it's just like, but I sit here and I shed no tears. I was confused yesterday. I got the first text that was just like sending hugs, you know, I hope you get something from above. It was so sweet. But I was just like, hey, I was like, it took me a second because I was confused. I didn't know why. Because number one, I mean, I know typically that would be the day that we would celebrate my mom's birthday. It's on the 28th, but it's a leap year. So I'm thinking her birthday is tomorrow. But I'm not sad. And I felt like the text come from a
sad place. Yeah.
The pat on the back where it was just like, but then the next time I got it, it was just like, happy birthday, part 1. I thought that was so cute. And I even told her, I said, I got a text earlier and I was like a bit confused.
Like, what is this about?
What is this about? But think about when my dad just called me. I'm thinking he's calling me because of what's going on.
Yeah.
But his call was about my mama.
Yeah.
He was calling to see how I was doing.
He wants to see how you was doing. He wants
to know. Like, are we still doing a balloon release? Something I didn't even know about.
This man called you.
I need to tell them that too.
He called you about that. We talked about unconditional love in
Baby.
relationships, and we said that usually it's just with the kids, but I believe that we have, and I'm just thinking about this now, I believe we've seen examples of it in relationships in our life. Because your father and your mother were divorced.
Years. Jordan was young. So the fact that for me to still live at home with him when he was young, Jordan was just like, we used to live with grandma and
He
granddaddy.
don't remember that.
Like they was married. I remember the first time we talked about it, I was just like, are you kidding me?
He don't remember them being married. Yeah, they got divorced, and I mean, I'm sure it was traumatic, but through all of that, he still loved her and she always loved him. But I think it's a perfect example of when you allow people to come in and destroy what you have because you care more about what people gonna say rather than what you really feel,
right?
And what you know is for you.
Because what you may do or may allow and may accept, and I'm not talking about infidelity or anything like that. It's just like what works in my house may not work for yours.
Yeah.
Just like we talked about the chores where it was just like, you know, my husband may be like, these kids doing some chores, and I'm gonna be like, okay, but I may be the one that's gonna be like, I'm just gonna get up and clean up and do this.
Yeah.
And that works for us.
Yeah.
So and all the naysayers, it don't matter. Whereas if you're, you know, battling with that weaker side of you, because we all have it, we switch up.
Yes.
Or sometimes we may think the grass greener on the other side, and it's not.
I just
thought, and sometimes the grass is greener on the other side. Y'all always think the grass ain't greener, but sometimes
it's
baby.
Greener. Yes, absolutely.
That grass, that lawn is beautiful.
Listen,
gated community beautiful.
It is. Listen,
I'm just saying.
I agree.
Grass ain't greener on the other side.
I agree with that because we said this before. I can't remember what episode. You don't know how that person is to that other person.
Yeah.
So it could be very green.
Because I am not the same as I was.
Yeah.
So I was telling you that I posted a new blog last night, and I'm bringing this up because I talked about 2 things that I feel like were detrimental in my journey.
Mm-hmm.
And it was with my mom and a situationship that I was in.
Yeah.
And when I talked about my mom, I remember growing up thinking that so many things about her were weak. Whereas now, like I sat in that back room at my altar with her picture, and I just looked at her picture. I looked at her mother's picture, and I just started thinking, like, you was never weak.
No.
I don't know my mother's secrets. She never shared with me her problems.
No, I didn't either.
If it was a problem that she had, it might have been some work stuff, but like family or what was going on with my dad, I never knew what was going on.
Yeah.
She protected us from that. Yes. But because I was looking at my dad during the time through a certain view on how I thought it was going, you know, to be in what she deserved because they didn't date. I don't know if my mama wanted to date or not. But here I am passing judgment because of what, as a child, I thought it looked like, because what I'm conditioned to believe from TV and what everybody else saying and what I think they're doing, or what I see my friends' parents doing.
I don't think a lot of parents from that generation shared a lot with their children or shown a lot, because my parents were married 59 years. It would have been 60 years. She passed 2 weeks before their 60th anniversary. 60 years they were together, and I don't know if they had problems. I know it wasn't no financial issues because everything was taken care of.
Right.
And I've seen with my own eyes my daddy cash out cars. And he wasn't, and your daddy too. We've talked about this before.
He just bought one.
That's one thing we've talked about. Like our dads have been, even though they were complete opposite in that way, they were the same. But they never put us in their business. They never talked about each other talked about my mom never talked about my dad to us. My dad never talked about my mom to us. we didn't see, like I know y'all didn't see until something exploded. And that's when you take the path.
And that's the key. Something exploded. Because even right now today, I don't know how it's going over there with my daddy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because I ain't gonna lie, it's been time we done looked into it and like, they need some groceries. You know, but it's just like we don't know because they never exposed it. And I didn't do that with Jordan either.
I didn't see my mother and father, like, because my father pastored a church and my mother was that first lady. You got first ladies now, and I know a lot of them. I love them. But my mother was just that, a first lady. She sat and supported. She didn't get up in front and say anything. Now, when they got home, this is my example. When they got home, she would give him suggestion away from people.
Ma'am, I blogged about Queen Esther.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Queen Esther received information from Mordecai.
Mm-hmm.
And she took this to the king and he delivered it.
Mm-hmm.
See, so many times we be wanting recognition.
Yes. And you got to let your man, that's part of him being a leader. Yes. Not that he can't listen to you, but I saw many times where she would say, she called him Just Lee. You heard.
Just Lee. I said that in your...
Yes.
He was like, what? My granddad?
Well, that's his name. But she would be like, Just Lee, you probably should have said it this way. Or what do you think about doing this? What, you know, this was all in private. And
that
it was all in private. And
because I'm not doing nothing in public.
He sometimes he would listen and sometimes he wouldn't. Now, after my mother passed, he called me and my sister to have a meeting with him about some business stuff. And he told us that had he listened to her more, now he's done very well in life, but had he listened to her more, he would probably be a millionaire. But because he didn't want to listen to her, he wanted to, you know, he said he didn't start listening to her about this one particular subject to maybe they probably was married almost 25 years by then.
Wow. 25 years.
On one particular thing about finances. And she followed him. He didn't want to listen. She followed his direction.
That is my plan.
She followed his direction. And not that either one of them was wrong about that particular thing. He just didn't want to listen at that time. And it didn't put them in any type of debt or anything. It just was like...
Or any conflict.
Any conflict.
Because money, that come and go.
Come and go. She probably gave the suggestion over the years. Me and Tanya never knew that she gave this suggestion. This is something that we didn't know nothing about until my mother was dead and gone. And he called us and he told us, he said, she gave me this one particular suggestion for years. And I didn't want to listen. He said, when I finally did, if I had listened earlier, let's say not millionaire, but he'll probably just be, you know, way more advanced. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that, I guess, you know, coming from a man who's supposed to be in charge, and he ain't no puffed up man. He probably like, you know, no, I'm the man. We're going to do it this way. And she probably was like, okay, you do it that way. I just want to give you a suggestion. And after that suggestion, think about how many more suggestions he probably listened to.
Yeah.
That she gave. In quiet, not out in front, not posting on social media, not saying it to the church, not, you know, just sitting back observing, being that virtuous woman
that was protecting her family. Because she was covering her man the head. My Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. And not that it's perfect, but I believe that's unconditional love. We've seen it with my parents in two different ways, and we've seen it in yours. My parents stayed married, yours got divorced, but he never stopped loving Dorothy Banks.
He always showed up for my mom.
He showed up for her even after divorce. He showed up for her.
Yeah.
And even to death, that man showed up for her. Mm-hmm. I will always respect your father for that.
Absolutely.
Always.
So it was just like when I wrote in there, it was almost like, I don't know if I journaled everything that I was thinking about, but it was like I wanted to just tell my mom I'm sorry and just to apologize for so many things. And even with the situationship, when I was writing about it, you know I'm not trying to place blame because I know the things that I did, and I never want to do that again, because I don't ever want to be with somebody that brings that side of me out. Number one.
Yeah.
But the thing is when a person tell you who they are.
Yeah.
You told me who you were the very same day that I gave you my phone number. I've seen you before. So that was on me.
Yeah.
But because of that, I sit here with you today. Because it has made me into this magnificent, strong woman that knows what love is and the differences with love.
Yeah.
And when we talked about unconditional, I looked up what conditions meant. I looked up the definition because I wrote about it, because I wanted to see, if I'm saying love is unconditional, what are the conditions? And I'm like, there's nothing out here that, I think one of the words was appearance. I don't care about that. I got my eye on somebody. I don't care about that. Like, so it's just like, come on. But, and I think now, like, the raccoon is popping in my head, because it's just like, let go. It's time for me to just say my I'm sorries for myself. And I know that my mama loved me, and I don't know why I question that, because I still question that just from them last couple of months of her life, where I had my whole life with her. I'm questioning, did she stop loving me in that moment?
Never. She never did. Never.
And that's where a lot of my struggles go, and I begin to be stagnant because I'm carrying something I don't even need to carry, because I know my mother sacrificed for me her whole life. Her whole life. I'm pretty sure there's moments that I'm not gonna never know about, because we as parents, we don't even tell our kids everything that we've gone through to protect them from. Because women can endure a lot.
We do. I'm
just like this.
I'm reminded of my sister. When you say women can endure a lot, I was talking to her and on the phone a couple of days ago, and I don't think she'll mind me saying this.
Girl, you're on blast. Call me.
Sorry, girl, but but no, I don't think she'll mind. I was on FaceTime with her, and she began to tell me that she was about to she was getting ready to go to the store to, I guess, to get stuff to make a cake. I was like, oh, you're gonna make some cakes this week? She was like, well, I'm making a cake because Caleb's other grandmother passed, and I was going to make a cake and take it or send it to that family. Now, this is a grandmother he's never met, a father that hadn't been in his life for 18 years until recently, and they built a relationship. We thank God for that. But I was like, girl, you making a cake for people that blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm like, I'm in that, like, and she was like, yeah. I was like, man, God gonna bless you. I said, because you done set aside any ill feeling. And this was at a time where I was mad about something on my end. And I was like, man, you just made my heart change based on how you are just going to reach out for, in society eyesight, people who ain't been there for your child. And now he's just meeting them and getting to know them and he's never met. And she was like, yeah, you know, I'm in it for the love of my son, and I just want to do right. I was like, man, that's the kind of love he want us to have. I told her, I said, you making me better today. Because when I already feel like, oh, I'm better, I'm good, I ain't mad at nobody. I'm like, girl, you just gave me another push to be like,
Because remember how we would talk on other episodes and you would always be like, Harmon, I'd be like, girl, I ain't there yet. I talked about this too, and I hate to keep saying that, but this is real life. We're recording this. I posted that yesterday, and at the end, I wrote a little poem because there's a specific tarot reader that I listen to regularly. Love her. And she was just like, if somebody's trying to come at you, I return that to send her 1,000 because we don't play that. Mm-hmm. And I sat with that. Because this be the other thing about me, and this probably where they want to throw a mental illness is because I battle back and forth. Because I'm like, should it be return to sender or is it just harm to none? You know what I'm saying? So then I sent you that, I seen that little bit of that TikTok. And it was the testimony when the girl said that she was doing witchcraft because she wanted the man to love her.
To love her, yeah. I remember. I read that when I watched that part. I said read it. When I watched that part, that was deep. She was like, I wanted him to love me so bad, and she was doing all kind of things to get him to love her.
And I was just amazed by that. But what stuck with me was that she said that she used headquarters of hell. Mm-hmm. And I thought, like, you have to be in some type of pain.
Yeah.
That you want to take the devil's position.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she wanted to, the pain that she felt, she wanted everybody else to feel it as well. And her trauma started at a young age. I think she was 12 or 13. So I respect that. But we still be in that type of spirit as an adult. Where somebody hurts my feeling, I want you to hurt too. Mm-hmm. But see, that's not always the case. Because if you reveal to me the type of person that you were, why am I wishing you dead? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because I made the decision to be entangled with you for however long.
Yeah.
So I can't wish you dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's just like, and who am I, God? Because whenever you're wishing something, like you said, the Bible is nothing but about love and supernatural powers. Mm-hmm. So it's love all in there. It's a bunch of killing. Mm-hmm. But the whole thing is love your brother and sister. And then it's just like, you got to reap whatever you done sow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I'm sowing the negative energy, the evil eye, and I'm throwing that back to you, I can't expect good to come to me. So I can take accountability for what I did, like I'm doing with my mama. I should have stayed. I should have showed up for you. And because I didn't and was a coward, I did not see you for however long until that day that she was passing away. Mm-hmm. This is something I have to sit with every single day. Mm-hmm. But it don't hit me no more like it used to. Mm-hmm. And then I think about on my way home, the 2 phone calls that I made. Mm-hmm. I made one to my homegirl who agreed, like, you always there. It's okay, go home. But I knew my mama was scared because she had just heard some news that she never shared with us. Mm-hmm. And I knew what that news was, and I was scared. But we didn't communicate with each other. And I don't know, maybe she was. But I did not stay. And I was encouraged by 2 people that told me, like, yeah. But I can't blame those people because sometimes people tell you things that they're not even going to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And that bothers me. I struggle with trusting those kind of people because I don't never want to tell you something that I know good and damn well I'm not doing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If I am wrong, tell me I'm wrong because that's what you do as a friend. And it ain't got to be all out. Like you said, we can do this in private right now. So I'm not mad at that. I take accountability for what I did. And then the devil kept going because I kept this cycle going. And I'm still thinking about that night when I came home to you. The night when she died, I came home to you. Your lady friend. You know, so it's just like, but I'm not mad because of free will, number one. And these are decisions that I made. Every decision that we do in our life is on us. We cannot let anybody else as adults take accountability for that. When they say that stand on business, bitch, stand on business.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when I was getting separated, and
I'm
you
lady, I
called.
don't cuss too often.
No, you called me. I'm thinking about what you saying about those friends. It was like she gonna be mad at you because you've been there all this time. I remember you calling me. It seemed like it was out the blue. I remember certain
Sometimes you call
conversations.
people who you know gonna tell you what you want to hear versus what you need to hear.
Yeah, you were the one person who said to me, Keisha, if you want to stay and work it out, you could do that. I'm not gonna judge you either way because some people want their marriage. He was like, so if you decide to go back, or if whatever you decide, it's okay. Nobody can judge you, not even me. And I remember you saying that. And I was looking like, that is so nice of you to say, but I am not going back. But I just remember you saying like, nobody, you make the decision. You want it to be my choice, not you gonna make the choice for me, because a lot of times we let people make the choice for us.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
we think we scared of
And
what they're gonna
sometimes we
think.
thinking about that and we overthinking in their story when that's not ours. Let them make that decision.
You was like, you said you make the choice. You make the decision. And we gotta stop letting people come in and make the decision. Because my sister I could have said to her, you stupid for making that cake. I would not. He ain't been there all 18 years. Girls, you crazy. And that family ain't up. But I was like, man, I'm encouraged by what you're doing. That right there is the love of God.
Yes.
That's the love of God, that you are going to be abundantly blessed, my sister, for doing that. And it may not seem like a big deal to somebody else, like that ain't nothing, but if you know the
story,
then it's a big deal.
And then if you know the person,
yeah,
what they've been through and how they've transitioned and grown through life, because sometimes a person will still look at you like that little kid, that little teenager, that early adulthood. They'll look at you from that moment on, whatever they've last connected or made up in their brain. But I'm not even that same girl from last week.
Yeah. It did something to me. I was just like, wow. And I remember when you called me and you was like, you make the choice. It's just like God, he give us free will. You make the choice, and your choice is yours.
Here's the thing about free will, and let me know what you think. Because when I think of free will, I know that I have free will, but sometimes I struggle with, do I? Because if God is laying out my path, he laying out my path. But then I think about when I bring you in my story and how I want you to behave. Now I'm changing your free will in my head. So I think about that. But then I go back to when I'm thinking about, if I say, show me a blue butterfly, and then I see that butterfly, then I know in my conversation, because I built a relationship with God and he knows Tikisha needs signs and synchronicities because she don't believe nothing else. She believe it. She says she believe it to see it. She need proof. But she needs to see the stuff to keep her going. So that's my deal. So when I see that, then I know that I'm on the path that he laid out for me. So my thing be like, God, I don't want no free will because I don't want to F it up. I want the signs every single day. Because that's how I know that I'm on the right path.
Yeah. It's funny. I was looking.
And I don't want to, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't want to change nobody else's. So that's why when I talk to you, it's like, are we in agreement on this? And people don't even know how to have those conversations.
Yeah. I know this. When God got his hand on your life, when he really, really put started covering you, the devil started getting more closer to you too.
Yeah.
And that's why it'd be like the free will thing, like, okay, because the devil gonna try to make his side sound better. And it'd be tempting, like, whew, let me go that route. But when he got his hand on you, you guys just know, like, okay, and that's the path my sister took with that. She could have took the devil path, like, these, or, but she took the path like,
but
God said, let me do this.
But think about this. It was an example for you.
Mm-hmm.
What if you, so God put it in you not to even switch her up from the path that she was on.
Right.
Because what if you would have verbalized those thoughts instead of feeling like,
Mm-hmm. Because I was like, girl, you didn't encourage me today. I was like, that you didn't preach a sermon by telling me you about to make a cake.
Yeah.
You didn't preach the whole that we don't be getting. We be like, I ain't doing this because that nigga don't do this for me, and he ain't. I'm like, I'm already been in that space, but sometimes you get like upset about small things or whatever, and
sometimes you relive the situation, and again, sometimes the people you talk to help you relive the situation.
But she put me right back into place.
But sometimes reliving a situation is not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes you need a reminder so you will see the negativity.
Yeah.
Because we need to notice when to stop and when to go. Like when you said, the discernment of knowing when this is of the devil.
Yeah, girl. I love that. Well, you want to say something?
I was just gonna say, like, I just always be thinking about the devil, because I'm just like, that's so within us too. Because it's just like the devilish behavior. We use that word, devilish.
We all got it. I mean,
so it's just like, because you could have said that, like, fuck that.
Yeah. I mean, I talk a lot about what people done did to me. I know that I done had some devilish behavior.
I for sure have. That's why I said I didn't go all into the detail in it, but I know the things that I did that I would never, that I still can't even believe that I did, but I'm aware.
Yeah. I'm aware. I'm like, we all got that devilish, but it's about, are you going to continue that devilish behavior? Because I believe that if your heart be pricked, like, I know that was not right. That was wrong. That's the Holy Spirit. Now, if you don't have that conscience, then you ain't got it. Like I was telling you, we was talking about the somebody's account being hacked, and I was like, you got to be like just a sick individual to sit up and just
sit around and think about, I'm about to hack.
I'm about to figure out the password, or I'm about to figure out this so I can steal from somebody and not care. You got to be a sick individual for that. Me, I don't think I could sit at the computer 2 seconds long enough. Like, okay,
to hold. Like, I'm sorry. There's too many numbers. I
can't do this. Yeah, I'm like, that's the Holy Spirit of me. Like, I'm not about to do that. But some other stuff, I probably gonna cuss you out.
Yeah. Same.
I'll cuss you out. I'll I'm gonna give you an evil eye like I get from people all the time. I ain't saying I'm gonna give the evil eye now because I've learned from that, but I have over the years looked at somebody.
Me too. That's what I was saying. I was like the lady, like, I wanted you to hurt because I hurt. Yeah. But some of the hurt I brought on myself because of the decisions that I made. But now it's just like, I don't want to return the sender. Yeah. I just want harm to none. I just want that if you have a problem with something that I'm doing or with something in my life, remove yourself from my life.
Yeah. That
I may miss you. I miss my mama, and I keep going every day fabulously.
Yeah. Same. Well, I think about your mama. You know, one of my fondest memories of her, the makeup class.
She did not want to go.
She did not want to.
She did not.
She didn't want to do the makeup class.
She did not want to go. I thought that it was going to be such a good idea for me and my sister and her to come together to do this class, because my mom loved makeup. Tiffany into makeup, but she like, what can Keisha teach me that I don't know?
That shit, baby. She was like, why am I coming to a makeup class? And guess what? She, even after the class, even though she ended up having fun, she didn't change anything about the way she did her makeup.
Keisha was talking, and what I remember distinctively was how it was what did you say? You dab the
Like
eyeshadow
blending
because
it,
it's
yeah.
not, yeah.
Yeah, that blending. You
So
said
I
dab, dab,
remember that
dab.
because
That's so
I
funny.
didn't know what. I remember that, and my mom was just like, yeah, no,
She was like, yeah, it
I
was.
don't do that.
She did. She never. She just came for
She just
attendance.
came,
She did
and
not
she
change anything.
loved it though
She
to
did.
have
She
the
had
time
fun.
with us all together right here.
Right in this room.
Now
Right in
that
this
I'm
room.
thinking about it,
Yeah.
right here.
Right in this room. We did that makeup class, and we had a ball, and I
And
was
she was
just
just
like,
like, I'm so glad I came. I'm so glad y'all made me come.
she didn't change nothing about the way she did her makeup. Though that was so
No,
funny.
she didn't.
She was looking at me like, oh, I'm gonna
And
wear purple.
and what I can respect about my mother that day, she didn't even hold back. She showed Keisha.
Yeah, she didn't care. She didn't care
I
about how I
don't
felt.
care.
Oh, she was like, I ain't gonna do it that way. I'm gonna do it this.
Like, you cute and all the new school.
Oh God, that was so.
But that ain't what we do.
That was
Sometimes
such a fun.
sometimes you need a little
That was
old
a
school, little
fun
Cooper.
class. That was a fun class. I was talking to my son about your mother.
Really?
I don't remember how. Oh, I remember how it came up because last week he saw him and Jordan saw each other and was so happy to see each other.
I was like, was y'all best friends? And
That's
we don't know secretly.
Isn't that weird how they're nowhere near each other's ages? I don't think they've even seen each other that many times over the years. But for some reason, they feel such a strong connection to each other. Like, it's weird. It's weird. Like, it's almost like just because they know we're each other's sons that it was, oh, I gotta go in here and speak to him. I'm like, do he even know you?
Yeah. He was just like, did you even know who you is? I'm like, Jordan know your kids. Like, I ain't that bad of a friend. Now, I might not come around, but he know my friends' kids.
It's weird though how they feel like they are, like he feels such a bond to him. But we was talking about your mom because I hope you're okay with talking about this. He remembered that night.
I am.
Okay. He remembers the night that she passed away because he remember, I mean, they were young, but not that young. So it was late when we got the call, when you called me, and I put them in the car and we came. And they sat, I remember I made them sit in the car for a while, but I think they got out the car when they brought your mother out the house. And he remembers that. And I told him about Jordan in that situation. And he was just like, wow, I remember that night. I remember that. And I was telling him about her birthday is. Yeah, we had a full blown conversation about it. Yeah. And he was just like, wow, I remember that. So it was touching to him because I think he felt in another way he related to Jordan in that moment because he lost my mom and Elijah tried to hold in emotions from that for so long and until he couldn't hold it anymore. Yeah.
Yep.
So he couldn't hold it anymore. Where I thought he was fine. I'm like, oh, he must be fine. He not be affected by this at all until he was affected.
Yep. Yep.
And so yeah, so I think that may be a thing that bonds them together that they don't even know that they have. Yeah, that they don't even know that they have. But your mother,
and I will tell you that night, I don't know who I called in the order, but I remember the 2 calls that I made. I remember calling you. I think I called, no, I only remember the 2 because I'm just like, I know I told my homegirl Eva, I don't even remember if I called her or not. I think I did. But I remember calling my cousin too. And those are the only calls that I remember making. But I remember feeling so overwhelmed because it was just like, I don't know what to do. I just lost my mother within a matter of seconds. And now you're telling me I got to pick a funeral home? I don't even know how this goes. And people don't realize how ignorant, and I don't say that condescending, But when you don't have enough information about something, you don't know.
And ain't nobody tutoring you in that moment.
And nobody tutored me. And there were elders there.
That, yeah.
For me to later find out, I wish she would have used this one.
Yeah.
You could have made that decision because I had just lost my mom. I didn't even know nothing about this.
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing about planning no funeral. I remember calling my homeboy, like, my mom died. I need somebody who do obituaries. And all of this we did Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Remember, you was making the phone calls because I couldn't even get myself together to call. And you was on a trip.
Yeah. That night, though, I don't know if I was leaving the next day after she passed or 2 days after. But I remember that night when we came and I kind of was standing there with you and I'm looking around. And I was like, ain't nobody doing nothing. Like, everybody was just kind of standing there, and the EMS I knew was about to leave, and I kind of whispered to you, like,
yeah,
you gotta make the calls. Like, yeah. Oh, like, and I'm like right now, you gotta call like right now. And you're like, what? And I just start calling because
I couldn't even comprehend that I had to do that.
Yeah, who can think about that at that time? Like,
I'm thinking about, I just lost my mother. I'm thinking about what my son is back there giving his grandmother CPR. And now my mother is in a bag.
Yeah.
This is a lot to deal with.
It was a lot. It was a lot that at that moment.
And I don't think people even realize too, when I say it was a lot to deal with in that moment, but even over time with me, it had been years since I had lost somebody that I cared about. Like, I lost a classmate. That everybody else I lost, but it was nobody that was really significant in my day-to-day life.
That you
Not that I didn't have love for, but I had to do that. And I was so involved. Like you said, I had to plan. I had never wrote an obituary before. And you want to tell me I forgot a name?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, how do I live my life with my mother that I talk to almost every single day since I've been on this earth? What I'm about to do? So it was just so much that I was dealing with, and it just took me all the way down into that hole. But because of some of the trauma, just like the lady in that YouTube video, it brought me closer to God.
Yeah.
Because I literally was just like, I have nothing else. In my words, because I talked about, like, I didn't just want to die. Like, I acted on these things. So it was just like, I could never imagine speaking that word now. I don't even know, respond like we used to respond, like, that's so funny, and be like, I'm dead. I don't even do that no more.
I don't either.
Because I pay attention to my words now. And I know how hard death is in missing someone, but I also know how the soul still remains. I even sometimes I be swearing, like, was that TJ? Like, that was TJ. And it's just like, people can call me whatever they want, but it brings me comfort. I ain't hurting, harming nobody. I'm still going on with my day.
Like yesterday when I text you and I was like, my alarm just went off at 1:11. I was like, and I checked my phone to see if I had an alarm set for 1:11. And I did not. And I was like, okay, all right, Angel, I know what's going on. Okay.
Yes, and I think during that time was I journaling, and I sent you the page.
Yeah. I was like, girl, my alarm on my phone and I sat there in it for a minute because I didn't text you immediately. I was like,
because sometimes it be like that where it's just like, okay, nah.
Yeah, I was like, you know what?
No incident.
Yes, I'm like, there's no coincidence. Why is my phone going off at 1:11? It's a brand new phone. You know, my regular alarms were set, and I was like, I know I ain't got no alarm set. I was like, okay, all right. That stuff used to make me a little nervous, and I'd just be like, okay, guys,
that's
I got you. Like, okay. Yeah, I'll be like, all right, I got it. Okay, I got it. But girls, yeah, that Our mothers, man.
But did your mother ever raise you talking about signs? Like how? Because clearly there was some communication. I don't know how many. We got 50 minutes. Clearly there was some communication with her and God directly for her to be able to communicate to your father.
My mother?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we ever had a conversation. I can't remember. We've had so many conversations over the years, but that doesn't stand out to me about having a conversation about signs. I do remember going to my
Because
mother's
I know your
bedroom.
mother didn't told you to pray about it.
Yeah, yeah. And I was gonna say I remember going to her room plenty of times where my mother was in her Bible. She wasn't like no Bible scholar or like quoting a bunch of scriptures.
That's how I am. I know it, but
Yeah.
I might can mess up some names and kind of go. And
Yeah.
I'm never gonna be able to tell you, other than the 23rd Psalm, I ain't gonna
Yeah.
be able to tell you nothing. Maybe Jeremiah 29.
But I feel like I know in those moments I didn't know, but now it come to me like, oh, my mother was praying.
Yes.
My mother was talking to God. She was.
And now we as single women sleeping with Bibles.
We sleep with our Bibles. And that's when it really come to me. Like, I remember those nights going to her room or those days where her Bible would be open and I would just be like, we should, just regular conversation. And it wasn't like a whole lot, but I knew, man, my mother is talking to God. I don't know what she's talking to him about, but I'm sure she talked to him about me plenty of times.
She talked about all of y'all. Because of course, it's the family.
Yeah, she talked to him about us. So that's why I'll be like, when I get them
that's
signs.
what I wonder. And I said that in another podcast that we did together. Like, how do you listen to God? Because my mother never told me either. But I know my mama prayed because she would always tell us to pray. And her phrase was, plead the blood of Jesus. If you're doing something that you don't want to do, when you about to open that door, you plead the blood of Jesus and you just imagine his blood just covering, washing you all over. My mama stood on that. So, but she'll be like, always like, it's a sign. Like, I know that came from her, but we never talked about how she received her information.
Yeah. I know how I received mine now. And I'm clear on that. I'll be like, oh, and it just be like, okay, I'm in alignment. You doing the right thing. You may not have your answer right now. Two. You may not have your answer right now, but you in alignment. You on your path to doing right, because you ain't gonna do right overnight.
Right.
You're not gonna be right overnight. It's steps to it.
And we have to be patient.
Yeah.
Patient. I need to find something about that and read about
that. I listened to this guy this morning. I'll be in my prayer calls and stuff now, but
I forgot.
He was talking about love, and it's so funny because we closing out our month of love, and his topic was talking about love, and he was like, "You have to love in anger. You have to love when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're angry." When you're having a good day, you in love. When you're a bad day, you in love. Everything is in love. So when you say, I'm not returning to sender what they send to me. So if you send a negative to me, I'm not going to ask God to send bad back to you. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are, because I want him to return to me everything good.
Yes.
And he does.
Yes.
Because I'm following them steps. Because I'm in alignment with what he's telling me to do, whether I'm mad about it or not. Like, oh God, I don't want to do this.
Right. Well, it's human nature.
Yeah.
We can be mad and feel some kind of way and ask for that to be released and move on.
Yeah.
And repent.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not returning nothing bad. That's why I say with no hurt, harm, or danger to anyone. And I mean that, to anyone. Because when I felt like, and I know me and you have talked about this, when it seemed like I was going to be broke, or when I wasn't going to make it, or whatever, he come right in on time. And I said this to you one day. I was like, girl, you was complaining about something. I don't remember what it was. And I was like, I don't know why you always be upset when you know God always gonna work it out.
Period. Big
Period.
Bella voice.
Big period.
Not the little
that
one.
That man ain't never failed me. I say never. That man like he my homeboy, but I'm just saying he's never failed me. If my son got in a car accident, it was gonna cost a couple of $1,000 to get it done. Okay, he come right in. Here you go, take care of it. My daughter got to go to Africa. I don't want to send her by myself. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go, and I'll be as soon as I say I'm gonna go, come right in. We'll take care of it.
You want to come right in for me to join Africa?
You can go to Africa if you want, but I'm just saying. I mean, and those are not bills because I don't worry about bills.
Because we need food.
I don't worry about that.
And I guess that's what I was struggling with because I was reading in the Bible, like, I know that I have to work to eat. I know this. Mm-hmm. But it was just like, what are works? Works are what you make them, Tikisha. It doesn't necessarily have to be that one particular job.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to work as the protector, as the head of my family empire.
Baby. That's a job. That's what I do. That's what I do. It may not be an empire to some, but it's an empire to the people in this house. You know what I'm saying? So I've never worried about bills, and I'll never forget when I was told when I was getting divorced, like you better do this because you're not gonna be able to make it, by yourself, or you ain't got to threaten me with a good time, baby, because I am always gonna make it.
Yeah,
always.
And sometimes we may be placed in uncomfortable situations, but we still making it.
Still. So my message to man, woman, boy, girl, and as we close out our month of love, celebrate her mother, because your mom was like that too.
Oh, my mother was like, if that's what you want to do it. There was no like, oh, that's what you want. You can have that. Yeah. Nothing is impossible. I was raised on that. Yeah. And any car you wanted has been impossible. Yeah. I've had everything that I've ever wanted in my entire life.
Same. And what I don't have yet, I know I'm going to get it.
Coming. Yeah, I already see it, and I know it's coming. So I'm just I'm just sitting here pretty talking to my friend while we waiting on it to come in. Right. That's all we doing.
Like that's it. We're just waiting because you have to be patient.
Yeah,
you have to, and it's like I know I'm in my waiting season for a few things.
I need to learn. Yeah. There's so many things that I need to learn.
I know I'm in my waiting season, and if it may not feel good to wait for some people, depending on where you at. But me, I'm enjoying my waiting season. I'm not talking about no man or anything, even though I know he coming too. I'm just saying
like everything in my life. When it come, if you have this big vision, the big vision comes with a whole lot of work.
Yeah, and then you gotta be prepared.
Like I should have been resting that day.
People, y'all be wishing for stuff and praying for stuff that you ain't ready for yet. He's preparing me. I know that I wouldn't have been ready for what I know God has for me if I was the same person I was 3 years ago.
Charlotte,
I know that I wouldn't have been ready for it.
This right here has been preparing me. Every episode that I watch, I see my own growth.
Yeah.
Every day I see things. And then when I watch the episode, I'm like, wow. Mm-hmm. Like this is really making me into a better person.
Yep. Because now a lot of stuff hit me more because it's so funny. We not celebrities, but you're a little celebrity-ish. If you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Because you done been out and we was together.
Yeah.
Remember? And somebody saw us in a store, recognized you like, hey. I was like, I've been seeing your podcast.
Somebody I didn't even think was watching. Hey, girl. Hey.
Right. Hey, girl. Because I knew her too. But we didn't remember that we and then when I walk out, it made me think like, you're not the same person.
No.
You can't act ignorant the way you used to, or the way I used to, or the way we wanted to, because if you in your waiting season.
Yeah.
Because he preparing you for what's next. Ain't no bats and guns. It ain't no bats and guns. For real. You can't be who you were, because then you'll knock all of it off the table. Like, okay, you're not ready.
Yep.
So And we're saying this to help and heal somebody. And I say that all the time as we getting ready to close our month of love, celebrating our leap year, celebrating her mother's birthday today.
I really wish that y'all could watch this
in real time.
But
listen, I'm telling you, this was a monthly message for me. It was a monthly message for you. And it's a monthly message for the masses that I believe is going to hear it, one day that, hey man, when you get in that waiting season,
just wait.
Just wait. Just wait. Ain't no hurt, harm, or danger from neither one of us to anybody. Mm-mm. For real. Because we about to get all the abundance he got for us.
Period.
Okay. Period. So,
you can get it too. You can get abundance is so much in the Bible. I'm going to stop because, I get to going. But it is so much. Yeah. And this is like, if you really read that, it's just instilling that I'm trying to set this up for generations to generations to generations. Like if you do not accept from your forefathers.
Listen, I'm going to close on this note because I just finished reading the story of Joseph, and I've heard the story of Joseph for years. And you know the story? Okay. When I read the story this week about he was starting young and God gave him these dreams, and it seemed like he was overconfident, but God had his hand on his life all his life. Time. And he went through these things with his brother selling them, and they was jealous of him, and he went in jail. He spent some years in prison, but God had his hand on his life the entire time. And then the end of the story, how he forgave his brothers and he was able to bless his entire family, even with all the stuff he had been through, even with the wrong that was done to him by his family, by other people. When they get mad at him, he took it, but he never, ever wavered from God. He never, ever wavered from God. And in the end, how he was able to bless his family and his brothers actually lived out what he dreamed of as a boy when he told his brothers, I had a dream that y'all bowed down before me. And they got mad at him. You ain't about to dream nothing like that about us. We're about to sell you or kill you something. And in the end, he was the one that they came and bowed down to.
Beyonce.
Okay. That's it for me. That's it. You got anything?
I have nothing else to say. Just thanks for tuning in. Go to, our scab.
Okay.
I said scab.
If you want one of these hoodies, lipstick and leopard, listen.
Go to my website, TikishaBanks.com.
Yes. Go to the website. The
blog is on there too.
Oh, yes.
Because we need to tune in.
Y'all got to read this blog. Read this personal blog she got.
Okay. If you still with us, let me just say this, because I don't correct my typos. It's a lot of grammar issues. But when you read, it makes sense.
It makes sense to me all the time.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
But if you want to come from me, it's fine.
Listen, go to the website, TikishaBanks.com. Order you a hoodie. Order you something else. Support the brand. Support her mother's legacy, lipstick and leopard, because that's what she loved.
That's what she
purple
loved.
Lipstick, leopard. Her favorite color was purple. And we love Mama Dorothy. We remember her today. And I think that she is smiling at you.
Yes, and she's saying, Keisha, feed my daughter. Okay, y'all.
Right. We will see. Like, subscribe, follow, share with a friend. I'm excited because we see that, it's growing. And I mean, I won't say too much, but, share with a friend. I think that somebody going to be blessed by this.
I know how we feel leaving, where we don't even talk because we just so full and just feeling like we just release so much.
Yeah.
That I just hope someone else can have that same feeling that we do.
Yeah.
So thank you, and share.
Share. All right. We will see y'all next time. By then it will be March, and it's going to be Women's Month. I think it's a month.
It's my birthday.
Yeah.
It's my birthday.
So we're going to be celebrating her birthday next month on one of them episodes too. So y'all tune in. So we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.